over the next year, I plan on investing over $1 million into my family's farm, and I plan on doing it for free. Hello everybody, my name is Cole, and I'm the Cornstar. Before we get started, this video is sponsored by Ariat, so if you want to get 10% off anything on their website, order through the link in the description. On March 13th, 1933, my great-grandfather bought this property on a bankruptcy sale. Fast forward 18 years, my grandfather enlisted in the United States Coast Guard, where he learned to be a diesel mechanic. Once his time in the Coast Guard was over, Grandpa Ray had the opportunity to buy the home farm and start farming. So he did. Over the next 57 years, with the help of my dad, Grandpa started to build his legacy. Year by year, the farm expanded from 120 acres to 500 acres, all the way to 2,000 acres. And as the farm grew, the original yard took on drastic changes. Grandpa bought used grain bins, and he put them up bolt by bolt. When he needed buildings, he found used materials and built them himself. Grandpa was a living example of the American dream. And then one day, at the age of 78, Grandpa was forced into early retirement. He was diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma, aka terminal brain cancer. In June of 2018, Grandpa Ray went to heaven. My grandpa may not be here anymore, but his legacy passed on to everyone here at Cornstar Farms. Since Grandpa's passing, I've taken on the task of renovating the farm to make it clean, efficient, and organized. I've cleaned up hundreds of thousands of pounds of scrap metal, and I even cleaned Grandpa's 1917 farm mansion. But no matter how much cleaning I seem to do, it seems like I just can't get ahead. And that is because of our bin site. What's wrong with our bin site? Probably be better to ask what's not wrong with it. First things first, it's in a bad location. We're landlocked by the buildings around it, so this takes expansion off the table. It's also located 100 feet from the house, so not only is it kind of an eyesore, it's also incredibly loud and really dusty. That's just the zillennial in me complaining. But I can't complain about the fact that it takes 6 weeks for us to set this up. But the thing that really calls for change is the fact that the farm got hit by 120-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, grain bins work without roofs, right? Here's the plan. We want to build a bin site that can hold 2,000 acres worth of grain. Warning, this is probably going to be extremely confusing, but I'm going to try my best. So this is the new location for the bins. Fortunately for us, the leg and the hopper bottom are still good. So we're going to move them here. But the rest of these bins are gonna get tore down. So back to the leg and the hopper bottom. The hopper bottom currently holds 18,000 bushels, and we figure while we have it apart, that would be the time to make it bigger. We would really like to make this 30,000 bushels. And then when it comes to the leg, right now we have one, but with the new setup, we're gonna need 2. Oh, it's gonna be expensive. But before we can do anything, we need to make sure that the new location is ready to be built on. First thing, we need to get a bulldozer out here to make grade, because the last thing we want is for this area to become a giant puddle. Once the grading's done, we can start excavation for the foundations of the new structures. We will need foundations for 3 grain bins, the dryer, the leg, and the unloading pits. I expect the dirt work and the concrete construction to cost $200,000. At the moment, we're planning on building 2 125,000 bushel bins. And then we're thinking an 8,000 bushel per hour leg, a new double dump grain pit, and we can't forget about the expansion to the hopper bottom bin. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as just building the bins and calling it good, because we also have to build everything to connect them together. I am still waiting on quotes from bin guys yet, so I don't have exact prices, but I do have a rough kind of idea that it's gonna cost somewhere around $1.50 per bushel. So in order for us to add 262,000 bushels of storage, it's gonna cost around $400,000. So for a little bit of concrete and some oversized pop cans, we're talking $600,000? Oh my. Oh, but I have some bad news, because we're not done yet. We still need to add on the catwalks, the drag conveyors, the dump pits, and the second leg. Oh, and did I mention that we also need to move 3-phase electricity all the way across the farm? So if my estimations are anywhere close to correct, we're talking about $1 million. And hello, cat. You smell like cat pee. Yeah, you smell like cat pee. Now, Cole, as someone who's always talking about how farmers are not making money, how in the world are you making sense of spending $1 million that apparently doesn't exist in farm world on a bin site? Well, that's what I like to call the $1 million question. Maybe the better question would be, why wouldn't I? Because honestly, they pay for themselves. So let me use a little education and break this down. You're really distracting, did you know that? Let's just assume that I don't have any storage for my 250,000 bushels of corn. Now I have two options. I can either sell it straight from the field, or I can store it. If I choose to sell it, probably not the most wise decision, because during the fall time, those are historically the lowest prices of the year, so I'm gonna wanna store it. And since I don't have any of my own storage, I'm gonna have to do it through a co-op. Right when I bring my corn in, they're gonna take a sample to find the moisture content. The co-op's gonna tell me, if you sell the grain right now, we just dry it down to 15%, but if you're gonna store it, we have to bring it down to 14%. Just a nice little welcome to the grain bin fee. So let's assume my corn comes in at 20% moisture. Since we're gonna be storing it, we have to dry it down to 14%. So that's 6 points. The co-op charges 4.5 cents per point. So for my 250,000 bushels of corn, that's gonna cost $67,500. Now that the co-op's taken our lunch money, we're allowed to store our grain. But as we can probably guess, they don't allow us to do that for free. They charge a storage fee of 5 cents a bushel. At Cornstar Farms, it takes us 2 months to harvest. So we bring in half of our grain in October and the other half in November, and then we take the month of December off. So for us to store our corn till the 1st of January, it's gonna cost us $31,250. Once January finally rolls around, we have people knocking on our door wanting paid, so that means we have to start selling grain. So typically what we do is we sell 50,000 bushels per month until we run out of grain. But we have to keep in mind, all the grain that we haven't sold yet, we're still paying storage on every month. So by the time May rolls around, we don't have any more corn anymore, and we've added an additional $23,750 of storage fees at the co-op. By the time we add in our drying and our storage fees at the co-op, we've paid them $122,500. Now let's assume that I can store my own 250,000 bushels, so just like at the co-op, I'm gonna have to take a sample to find the moisture, and for the sake of apples to apples, it's gonna be 20%. But here's a major difference. At home, we can dry our grain for 1/3 of the price of the co-op. And not only is it 1/3 of the price, we don't have to go down to 14%, we can just bring it to 15%. So just on the drying aspect, we save $48,750. And then since we own the bins, we don't have a storage fee. But we do have a payment. The Farm Service Agency is currently offering a 12-year 0.75% interest rate with 15% down on grain bins. So after doing some calculating, if we put the minimum down of $150,000, that means we would have to borrow $850,000 and at a 0.75% interest rate over the next 12 years. That payment's gonna come out to just over $74,000 a year. Or we could call that just about 30 cents a bushel. So we're gonna consider this to be the storage fee. So Cole, you're telling me that it's better to pay $74,000 a year than $55,000 a year? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, because remember that $48,000 that we're saving on drying expense? If we take that off the $74,000, it costs us just over $25,000 a year for us to have our grain bins. Actually, let's just say we use that $48,000 to pay the electric bill, property taxes, insurance, Daddy Cornstar's pizza bill, and made payments on a new dryer. Now that that money's taken away from the equation, it still sounds like having grain bins here at home is more expensive, right? Wrong. Because by having the grain bins at home, we can take advantage of opportunities that are not available through the co-op. These would be things like quick ship bids, basis swings, and delivering to different locations to take advantage of higher prices. After doing a little more math, we need to get an extra 7.7 cents per bushel in order for us to essentially get a free bin site at home. And I say free because let's say we sell it straight out of the field. Oftentimes that's the lowest price of the year, and we're still taking it in the shorts because we have to pay a drying fee. And if we store it, we just went through all the numbers on that. So it's either we store it at the co-op or we store it at home. I guess I would rather eliminate the middleman and just pay myself. So that's how I plan on making $1 million for free. Before we go, I just wanted to mention that this was just a basic financial analysis. There's definitely more than one way to skin a cat. This is just what we're choosing to do, so take it with a grain of salt. With that being said, thank you for watching. It would really mean a lot to me if I got some feedback down in the comments. This video is a little bit different than what I normally make, so I just want to know if you enjoy it. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.